Welcome to Breakup, cheater. Here's today's story. What happens when words cut deeper than betrayal? Can love survive when trust shatters in complete silence? Let's begin. They say some wounds aren't made by knives or fists, but by words you can't unspeak, even if you want to. Maya always had a sharp tongue, especially during arguments. She wasn't the type to back down easily, and neither was her husband, Aaron. Their marriage had always been passionate, sometimes intensely loving, sometimes volcanic in its tension. But one night, during a particularly heated exchange, Maya decided she needed to win. She didn't want resolution. She wanted to land the final blow. "You always have something to say, Aaron," she snapped, arms crossed. "You talk too much for a man. No wonder you're so small down there." The second the words left her mouth, something in the room shifted. Not in an explosive way. Not the sound of something breaking. It was the sound of something folding inward, collapsing. Aaron didn't yell. He didn't slam the door or hurl an insult back. Instead he just stood there. Type. Eyes darkening with something far heavier than fury. Was pain. Humiliation. Something deeply familiar to him that she never knew she had touched. Without a word, he turned and walked away. Maya waited. Waited for the argument to resume, for the shouts to return, for the door to slam, or for him to come back into the bedroom as he always did after a fight. But he didn't. He never did. And that silence, so strange, so thick, it was worse than any yelling she had expected. They had fought before. Many times. But always found their way back to each other. Through apologies, through intimacy, through a shared cup of coffee the next morning. This time, the distance stayed. And the silence grew louder. The next morning, his side of the bed remained untouched. Cold imprint of absence. Maya assumed he had slept on the couch, until she checked. No blanket. No pillow. Just an empty space. She found him in the guest room. Sitting on the edge of the bed. Motionless. He wasn't sulking. He wasn't even angry. He was hollow. She stood in the doorway for a long moment, unsure whether to speak. Finally she whispered, "Aaron." "Nothing." "Why are you in here?" "Still nothing." He didn't even look at her. When he finally did, his expression wasn't rage. It was resignation. She tried everything to fix it. She cooked his favorite meals, left kind notes on the bathroom mirror, casually brushed her fingers against his when they passed each other in the hallway. But his response was always the same. Detached, cold, unreachable. That's when she realized. This wasn't anger. This was detachment. The kind that happens not when someone's upset, but when they've already let go. Aaron had grown up with a secret shame. One he never spoke about. Not even to Maya. In high school, a stupid locker room rumor had circulated about him. About his size. A joke, a lie, but it stuck. It followed him like a shadow. Girls whispered. Boys laughed. One girl, the one he had a crush on, had looked at him with this chilling indifference after hearing the rumor. Like he had simply stopped existing. That moment carved itself into his self-worth. Years later, another girlfriend had cheated on him. And when he asked her why, she gave him the kind of answer that didn't even come with anger. Just cold truth. "You just don't satisfy me," she said. That broke something inside him. He had buried it. Locked it deep. And when Maya came into his life, he finally thought he could breathe again. With her he didn't feel judged. He felt seen. Loved. Until that night, when the one woman he thought would never say something like that shattered him with a sentence. "You argue too much for a man. No wonder you're so small down there." It wasn't just an insult. It was a reopening of every scar he'd worked so hard to hide. Days passed. Maya began to realize she had misjudged the moment. She thought it was one mistake. One fight. But for Aaron, it had been the final blow in a war he had silently fought for years. One night, she walked into the guest room to find him packing. Her throat tightened. "Are you leaving?" He didn't answer immediately. Just kept folding clothes methodically, as if he'd already made peace with his decision. When he finally looked up, his voice was calm, almost eerily so. I don't know if I can come back from this. That hurt more than if he had screamed. Because there was no drama in his voice. Just truth. Maya choked on tears. I love you. Messed up. I shouldn't have said that. Just tell me what I can do. For the first time in weeks, something flickered in his eyes. Uncertainty, hesitation. A sliver of emotion. You can't take it back, he said. And I can't unhear it. She nodded, tears falling freely. But do you want to leave? He hesitated. I don't know, he said. But I know I don't want to feel like this anymore. Aaron didn't leave that night. But he didn't return to the marriage either. Not fully. Maya knew this wasn't something flowers or dinners or physical affection could fix. The damage went deeper than their bedroom. Deeper than one insult. It reached into the unspoken places where shame lives. For once, there was no clear path forward. Just quiet cohabitation. Two people sharing a house, unsure if they were still sharing a life. But Maya held on, not to certainty, but to the sliver of hope he hadn't yet walked out the door. The real question was no longer whether Aaron could forgive her. It was whether love could survive when trust had been broken by words no apology could ever fully erase. And in the silence between them, that answer was still waiting.